Okay, welcome back to the action here. The San Francisco Dawn still maintaining that just slim lead. I'm joined in the studio now by the one and only, the main man of British basketball, Sam Hoopsfix Netter. Sam, what is the crack?
Hey man, thanks for having me.
When did you arrive in Ireland?
I arrived this morning. I was in Manchester last night for the GB game against Austria.
Yeah.
They're long enough to watch Landersberg drop 40 points in the half on us.
I was going to say, like, what happened there?
I don't even know, but that was one of the most impressive international performances I've ever seen in my life.
I've never heard anything like that.
No, I mean, it must. I haven't checked, but it must be pushing some sort of FIBA records.
It's got to be like.
It was ridiculous. And then I spent the night at the airport, so I'm feeling pretty tired at the moment. And got the 7 a.m. flight and arrived in Belfast this morning at 8 o'clock and was at the arena here at 8:30.
That sounds like my pilgrimage to the NBA London every year. It's like no sleep. You arrive at the arena at 8 a.m. and you're just like drained all day.
Yeah.
But speaking of NBA London, like, see like the setup here in terms of like the professionalism, in terms of like the production values, in terms of the presentation, like it's not far off it.
Do you know what I've said to so many people since I've been here and also in the run up to this event, that operationally the things that the Belfast Classic is doing, no one is coming close in the UK except for the NBA. You know, it's so impressive what they're doing. It's so big time that I think that credit to Mark and Gareth and all the rest of the team that are involved, because we've never seen anything like it, and it's so impressive.
Like I went to an NBA London with Mark himself many years ago with the Courtside Collective, and we went to like the Team USA came over Paralympics. Yeah, and I think seeing the setup and seeing how they run these big arena events, inspired him, and it definitely took a leaf out of a page of their book, because it's it's just like clockwork. Everything happens, and it's such a good family event too. There's not a spare second. They haven't got entertainment. They haven't got song happening. Keep the kids involved, because a lot of these kids, they're not basketball fans. They're just kids who come from school. This is their first time seeing basketball, and they need that extra bit of entertainment and stuff to keep them excited, and they're doing a great job of that. Yeah,
I mean 100%. I think this morning there was 4,000 kids here, and I was actually thinking, watching them going crazy, that this for a lot of them might be their first exposure to basketball, and they could be, the next NBA player out of Belfast. So out of Ireland. So I mean it's incredible, and like you said, we were talking about them just before we went on air here, that the two guys on the mic, Simon Hosanna and Tahir Hadja, are doing an amazing job emceeing the event and making sure there's entertainment. Everyone's into it, doing crowd involvement games. It's hilarious, and it's just been such a good family day out. I think that it's a credit to everybody involved.
And how did your involvement come around in this? Was it Mark approach you, or what happened? Or?
Yeah, so Mark hit me up a couple of months ago and just said, this is what we're doing. Like, we really want to get you involved. We had a conversation and obviously managed to get Hoopsfix involved as sort of an official digital media partner. Yeah. I mean, essentially, it's just trying to help increase the reach of this thing. I think it's easy for me, being in England and being in London especially, to get very much caught up in that and forget that Northern Ireland is a part of Great Britain. And so, even when I write stuff about it, I'm very much aware of the fact that I'm writing, it's very cheap to get flights to Belfast. And I'm thinking, well, actually, this isn't how I should be writing things, because there are people that read the site that are based here anyway. So I think that anything that I can do to help increase the awareness of this event, which I think is just amazing. And of course, there is talk of potentially going to London next year. So there's a nice tie in there as well. But I'm here, like, we're kind of discussing the exact outputs that we're going to try and do. But ultimately, I want to try and do a top 10 plays. Obviously, little recap every single day. Photos and a few interviews as well. There's a guy involved with Buffalo who's the video coordinator, who's actually from England. Okay. So there's a nice tie in there. We're going to have a little chat with him. But then also, the coaches, the players. There's so many, I think, young players across the UK that are aspiring to, play NCAA Division 1 basketball. There's a lot of relevant conversations to be had. Yeah.
And that's one of the things you really push, because obviously building Hoopsfix now and all, you've always been sort of kept an eye on the guys that go from the UK across to play in the NCAA and stuff, and keep an eye on the British talent, globally, worldwide. Like, where do you see it going in the next few years? Like, what's the next big projects for Hoopsfix?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff we're working on. One of the things we're trying to do this winter is our first outdoor court renovation. So we're trying to do it at Clapham Common in South London.
Did you do the Hoopsfix Foundation also?
yes, that will be done through the foundation.
Yeah.
They've got to raise a fair amount of money, but we're working with Basketball England. We've got like a really nice design done, but we're going to put in bleachers, going to put in fiberglass backboards, spring-loaded rims, and really try and make it, London's version of the Rucker. Be able to do outdoor summer leagues there, outdoor tournaments.
So there's free access, public courts.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So that's, that's a big legacy piece. Like if we pull that off, it's there for the next 20 years.
That could be huge because one of the big problems I find in basketball in this part of the world is access to courts, and the cost of that,
Yeah, of course.
Whereas in America, kids have access to gyms in every corner almost. We're over here, it's like, trying to get a school or a public leisure centre and paying the cost. It's just so prohibitive,
100%. I mean, you still have the issues with outdoor facilities and the British weather. But, I think that if the outdoor facilities that do exist were better, you would definitely get more people that would be playing outside. So yeah, I mean, that's one of the major projects. Obviously, we brought back the Hoopsfix All-Star Classic this summer after a year break, which is a junior showcase.
You have fantastic kits for that. Your kits look spectacular.
Yes, shout out to Jeff. I think you know a lot about Jeff.
Those kits were fantastic.
But yeah, no, we got a lot of positive feedback on the kits. But yeah, no, it was awesome to bring that back, and we're going to be doing it again next summer, providing we can raise sponsorship. So there's that stuff going on, and it's just always just trying to find ways that we can push the game, the media coverage of the game forward. So I'm all ears to any new ideas that people put forward or any other content ideas. But it's kind of it's never ending. I think that even now the stuff that we put out, there's so much more that we could do. I think we haven't even scraped the surface of the amount of content that could be produced around this game to help increase the awareness and grow the popularity of it. Yeah,
for sure. There's always room for, especially over here, to increase the media profile of basketball. I think in terms of when you look at the basketball participation numbers and you compare it to the media coverage, especially in the mainstream media, it just doesn't tally up compared to other sports. It's crazy.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, basketball does get a raw deal, and I think, of course I'm biased, but actually if you look at it objectively, the numbers, you look at the numbers, you're just like, none of this makes sense. Yeah. It'd be interesting. What are your thoughts on media coverage of the sport over here? Like, obviously you were doing your thing with Courtside Collective a little while back. Are there any other sort of niche sites that are covering the sport, or where are people sort of learning about it?
Not really, to be honest. Now, in fairness, Basketball Ireland have done I'm probably biased too, but they've done a great job in the past few years in terms of bringing on full-time media people.
Yeah.
Mary Maguire, Sheena Hubbard, Ross before them. And they travel the country. They do great jobs in educating the clubs on how to use social media, how to do stuff. And they do and basketball now, virtually nearly every senior level game is live streamed on Facebook. So that's a big thing,
Yeah. Well, that's the way the way technology's evolving. It's just so easy now for clubs and players and stuff to increase their own profile at very little cost.
All you need is a tripod and a mobile phone.
Yeah.
And you're good, a Facebook account, and you're good to go. And it can be a professional looking stream, HD phone, it looks quality,
And then when you have those viewing figures, you can potentially take that to sponsors and say, we've got X amount of people watching our games every single week.
Yeah.
And that'll increase the commercial opportunities for the game. So
in Ireland, actually, the media attention has improved, Like Basketball Ireland, we get a lot of good content into the main papers, into the main news sites. They do a weekly roundup and stuff, but it's just
in all the biggest papers and biggest TV stations, or like
no, you get someone you get a column into the big papers, but you don't get the full.
Right.
You won't get anywhere near what the rugby's going to get or the soccer and that, But even some more, and plus
but it does get some love.
And Ireland too. GA Gaelic Games takes a lot of the content.
This Belfast Classic's on BBC Northern Ireland as well, right?
Yeah, it's been live streamed on Classic. Been live streamed online.
Okay.
I think it's on the red button also.
Say that again.
On the red button. The red button.
Oh, the red button. Yeah.
And then I think it's also on. It's been streamed live in CBS in the US.
Yeah. And I think that gives them access to 60 million homes or something crazy, right?
Yeah.
That was I don't know if you listened to Mark. Did you listen to Mark Woods' podcast with Gareth Maguire?
With Gareth Maguire, I've downloaded it, but I haven't listened to it yet.
Oh, it's so good, and it gives a really, really interesting insight into the sort of the behind the scenes, the figures, the numbers, how it works. And yeah, one of the things he said was that the moment they got the CBS deal, it gives them access to 60 million homes, and that becomes a completely different conversation with sponsors. So yeah, fascinating. And then I think off the back of that, Woods did a piece on ESPN as well. He was talking about the numbers, and I think the budget for this thing is 1.8 million.
I think people that aren't here don't realise this is a proper big event. This is a big event. This is in terms of basketball events, I don't think anything comes close really in the UK and Ireland. Apart from the NBA London, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, it would be interesting to know what the budget for the NBA London is.
Here we got another impossible Timeout challenge.
Nah, you missed. You missed.
94-foot putt. Rory McIlroy cannot sink this putt.
What's the prize?
It better be good because.
San Francisco, California.
Oh, we got San Francisco.
USA. There you go now, Jack. I've been told to tell you mind your back. All right? Okay, here we go. This is it to win. So nothing to it. Go, Gabriel. Go. Now, anyway, come over here. Come over here. It looked really, really good right up to the minute when you actually hit the ball. But don't worry. Thank you very much indeed for taking part. Give him a big round.
Well, Sam, I'm going to let you get back to work now, but before you leave, just like, are you in Belfast for long? Are you sticking around for a few days, or what's the plans?
I am flying back on Sunday night, so I do actually have an extra day.
Okay.
I'm trying to work out what to do with that extra day. So if anyone has any suggestions on, well, ideally a bit of basketball culture is what I'd like to take in, a bit of local basketball culture. You know, I've got my camera gear with me as well, so if there's something that anyone thinks is worth me checking out that's local, that's not going to cost me a bomb to get there or whatever, definitely hit me up at Hoopsfix on all social media platforms. Got to give the plug.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah, I'll be definitely open to coming down and paying a visit somewhere and speaking to some people. So yeah.
There you go. What an opportunity. You've got the UK, British basketball's main media man willing to come out to your club or your area. If you've got something going on Sunday, you get a bit of free press coverage from it. You know, you get a shout out in Hoopsfix, and he may get some good content. So at Hoopsfix on all social media, hit him up and gets on going. Sam, pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Chat again soon.
Yes, thank you, Noel.